Hi, Reading Bible. I'm so glad to be with you guys, even though I'm actually in Montgomery, Alabama, and we're headed out to speak at a disability camp for kids in just a little bit. But I wanted to get this to you first. So let's jump in. What I've done is I've taken all your questions and read them and thought about them, prayed through them, and selected three that I feel like basically sum up the other ones within them. And I'm going to answer and just give you some good stuff about those questions, and hopefully will answer all 9 of the questions within. So let's jump into the first one. The first one says, a sweet friend writes, I know you have your faith and prayer to get you through down days. Aside from prayer, what are your practical things to do to get out of a funk and moving forward? Great question. I get in funks a lot, and I imagine many of you are dealing with funks right now, or you've come out of one recently, or honestly, you're going to go into one recently. And I can tell you, for me, there's a number of things I do. One is to really camp out in gratitude. And that's been really powerful for me to engage, is just staying in a place and almost not leaving, like forcing myself to recognize I've got to look outward. I can't go inward with this pain, think it's the only thing in the world that's ever happened to anyone, which can be hard and harsh. And please hear me, even though I'm kind of making fun of that, I get it. Pain is real. However, perspective is real too. And even in our worst nightmares, if we can get outside ourselves and see the hurting world around us, it changes how we experience our nightmare. So that is truly what I've been able to do. Also, I tell you that I think feeling emotion is so critical to how we engage our ordeal. I think go on, let it rip. God can handle it. Read the Psalms for some inspiration. What David was doing was crying out to God in his mess. He was saying, I can't handle this. This is a nightmare. I need you, Father. So we should do the same thing. I firmly believe that we should not suppress our pain. Cry, feel, cry out, but then don't elevate it. You are not on a TV show. You are not in a movie. This is not some, live stream of your life story for the world to see. No. Like, turn that off. You're in real life. You've got problems. People around you do too. So what we need to do is feel, but not escalate it. Just bring it in and cherish your suffering, but don't let it run your life, honestly. Have emotion, but don't elevate them. I think that's really important. Finally, I tell you, celebrate, even in the midst of your nightmare. I love this thought that what we are called to do is be the people of hope and overflow with hope even in the bad times, and it changes how we experience the bad times. I have a dear friend whose father got cancer several years ago, and the day after his diagnosis, they threw a party. They had a tribulation celebration and had a bunch of friends over and celebrated not the pain, but celebrated God's presence and power in the pain. Think about that. We are choosing to rejoice because we know God is with us in it. God is at work. He's not leaving, which is so comforting. And He's bigger than this. His power is perfect even in our tremendous weakness. So we can boast, says 2 Corinthians 12:9. Great verse. So celebrate your nightmare. Celebrate your storm. Okay, next question. Did Jay share some of his struggles and painful moments, like listening to the birthday CD or saying goodbye in the first apartment as you were going through your journey of healing? Or did he wait to share those moments with you until you were writing the book? Well, neither. He told me afterwards, for sure, definitely not in the moment, any of that really hard stuff. I mean, he wasn't hiding everything from me, but a lot of the really painful things he saved, which I think is super wise. But he did tell me a couple of years later. And so not 8 years later, but he waited. And I think there's something so key for all of us in that. My swallowing is a good example. The swallow therapist told Jay I would likely never swallow again. Can you believe that? And he did not tell me that they said that. So you know what I did? I worked like crazy for years, well not years, 11 months, might as well have been 100 years, to relearn to swallow. I did exercises, I did everything humanly possible to learn to swallow again, because I had no idea that I was never supposed to swallow again. So that's a tremendous example of the power of timing. Timing is everything, ladies. Oh my goodness. How important can it be to hear or to not hear something at the right moment? We've got to hold our tongue sometimes and say something that is absolutely as true when it's shared later as it was in the moment. There's no less authenticity. We love that word these days, be authentic. I love that word. However, authentic does not mean unloading, exploding on someone. Authentic means being true and being loving and being honoring, real with someone, even if it's not necessarily in the moment when they don't need to hear it. So Jay Wolf is a good example of telling me things when they need to hear it. The last question I'm going to answer is, what marriage advice do you have for couples in the midst of suffering? In your book, you mentioned that the doctors told Jay and you about the high divorce rate for brain injury patients. How did you and Jay fight back against that mentality? Oh my goodness, in 100 ways. I mean, we have not gone down without a tremendous fight, and that doesn't even make sense because we didn't go down at all. Our marriage is awesome. We just had another baby, in fact. And as far as a perfect marriage, oh please, yeah right. We have some rockin' fights, for sure. However, you can fight fair and you can fight without that meaning your marriage is bad. Oh my goodness. The reality is how you resolve the conflict determines how your marriage is, not if you have conflict at all. I think that's true. I think that's like proven. I don't know though. But it is true for me anecdotally. And I'll tell you this, in the marriage, it's not easy for two people. They're too selfish, honestly. People coming together with pain and problems and wounds and scars and issues to suddenly be these angels when they join. Yeah, right, it's the opposite. It's so hard to meld a life with someone who has different experiences, wounds, just baggage from their background. So when you two become one, it's hard, and it's supposed to be, but we have found a number of things are key. Number one, become a student of your spouse. Make it your life. Make it your work. Why do all these guys and maybe girls know every statistic of every TV show? I mean, every like baseball game or something dumb. But they don't know what their life's like. So why do women know about some sale for shoes 3 weeks from now, but don't know what makes their husband tick? Come on, people. Like, learn about each other. You're married. When you start with the baseline of learning about each other and then choosing, and this is key, choosing to really point each other to Jesus, really taking the focus off of our relationship and putting the focus on their relationship to Jesus and how you can enter into that and really champion making them look more like Jesus. Suddenly your perspective changes on, I've got to get my needs met, but I want to be a part of what God is doing in their lives. And that really transforms how you feel about your marriage. So I think that's all. I think that's all I'm going to say except this. And hear me, this is so important. We really want y'all to take the book that you've just read out to your neighborhood. I mean, the people on your street who may be on very different faith journeys than you are, who are really living lives and basically not necessarily knowing about faith. Who knows? We want you to gather your neighbors. We want you to do a full-on book study, not a Bible study, not something that meets at a church. We want it to meet in homes. We want people who do not necessarily go to church to read this book, because guess what? Story changes the game. People can argue and argue and argue about theology, but tell them a story and they can't argue with someone's experience. So that's key here. Use it. And the book isn't titled Jesus Heals. He does, but the book is titled Hope Heals. It's a friendly way for you to share your faith with your neighborhood. Please do it. Please let us know if you do it. Maybe we'll create some Instagram hashtag or something where I can follow you guys doing it. That'd be so fun, and I would love that. And I would just love to know that Sweet Wheaton Bible would really just transform their neighborhood through the power of this story. And it would just bless my heart. I love you guys. So I think that's everything. Jay, are you saying something to tell me?
Maybe hashtag Hope Heals Book Club.
I love it. Okay, done. Hashtag Hope Heals Book Club. Got it? Hope Heals Book Club. Perfect. Excellent. Well, ladies, thank you so much. And I can't tell you what it means for you to have engaged my story and read the book. It is just such a blessing. I can't even tell you. I love you people, and I don't know most of you, but I love you already. And I do love you, Amy and Kelly and Carol and all the ones I do know. Ashley Livingston. I love you all. So, thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.